What if everything you thought you knew about Meghan Markle's life, her family, and even her carefully curated public image was just the tip of the iceberg? What if beneath the glitz, the red carpets, and the royal headlines, there were secrets so closely guarded that the world had never seen them, and some of those closest to her were paid to stay silent? Today, the silence ends. Today, Doria Ragland, Thomas Markle, and Samantha Markle finally break their silence. And what they reveal will shock the world. But before we continue, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell for updates. For years, Meghan's family stayed in the shadows. Their stories, their grievances, and even their private struggles were locked behind closed doors, protected by more than just discretion. There were financial agreements, promises, and an unspoken pact to stay quiet. But what happens when loyalty collides with truth? When personal integrity outweighs secrecy? Doria Ragland, Meghan's mother, now admits something that has never before been revealed publicly. She was paid to keep quiet, paid to withhold details about family history, early relationships, and even scandalous secrets that could rewrite the narrative of Meghan's life. Imagine what it would feel like to be in Doria's shoes, to witness everything: her daughter's rise to fame, her entry into the royal family, the media frenzy, the controversies, and yet be forced to hold back. To know things the public doesn't. To watch stories circulate in tabloids and social media, sometimes false, sometimes exaggerated, and know the truth, but remain silent because the price of speaking was never negotiable. Can you imagine the tension, the inner conflict, the quiet burden of a mother who loved her daughter but had to keep secrets to protect her? And then there's Thomas Markle, once a figure on the periphery, now suddenly central. The man who captured Meghan's early life on camera, who watched as her career unfolded from Los Angeles to the world stage, has his own story to tell. The media has often painted him as controversial, sometimes critical, sometimes misunderstood. But there's more beneath the surface, a story of estrangement, miscommunication, and unspoken truths. When he speaks now, the world listens. And what he reveals isn't just about Meghan. It's about family, betrayal, and the cost of secrecy. Samantha Markle, Meghan's half-sister, adds yet another layer to this intricate tapestry. For years, she has waited for a moment to share her perspective. While she has been portrayed in headlines as combative or opportunistic, the truth she brings is far more nuanced. She speaks about rivalry, jealousy, loyalty, and the complicated dynamics of a family whose public image has been carefully managed. Her revelations are both shocking and, in some ways, painfully human, reminding us that behind the glamorous headlines, there are real emotions, real conflicts, and real heartbreak. So why now? Why break the silence at this moment? Timing matters. In the world of celebrity, and especially royalty-adjacent celebrity, timing is everything. Public interest has surged, the media is hungrier than ever, and the layers of Meghan's past have become irresistible to audiences worldwide. But beyond the timing, there's also a personal and emotional dimension. The decision to speak out wasn't made lightly. It came after years of quiet reflection, negotiation, and, in Doria's case, grappling with the moral implications of silence. When the world hears what they have to say, it won't just be another tabloid story. It will be an expose, a revelation, and a deeply personal account that challenges everything previously assumed about Meghan's life and her family. Think about it. How many times have we believed the narratives constructed by the media? How often do we accept the polished image without questioning what's behind the scenes? The story that is about to unfold forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about secrecy, loyalty, and the complex relationships that define a family. For Doria, Thomas, and Samantha, the decision to finally break their silence is both cathartic and explosive. It's the culmination of years of restrained emotion, unspoken tension, and unresolved conflict. And as they speak, the world is forced to reconsider not only Meghan's story, but the very nature of family, fame, and the price of silence. Doria Ragland's admission is the first shock. She confesses that she entered into a financial agreement with Meghan to remain silent. This wasn't just a casual understanding. It was formalized, binding, and intended to protect the family's image while keeping certain truths hidden. The agreement covered everything from early family struggles to private details about Meghan's relationships. The revelation raises immediate questions. Why would a mother need to be paid to protect her daughter's secrets? What could be so sensitive, so potentially explosive, that silence required compensation? And perhaps most importantly, what does this tell us about the pressures and complexities of Meghan's life before and during her royal years? While Doria wrestled with the moral weight of silence, Thomas and Samantha were navigating their own complex emotions. Thomas, often misunderstood by the public, faced the dual challenge of wanting to support his daughter while also processing feelings of estrangement and public scrutiny. Samantha, meanwhile, had to contend with being publicly labeled as antagonistic or opportunistic, even as she sought recognition and understanding for her own perspective. Together, their voices create a fuller, more complex narrative, one that is not about blame, but about truth, reconciliation, and the intricate dance of family loyalty. This story matters because it challenges the simplistic narratives we've been fed for years. Meghan Markle's life has been dissected, analyzed, and sensationalized by the media, yet few have considered the private forces shaping her decisions and experiences. The confessions of her mother and siblings offer a rare glimpse behind the polished public persona, a glimpse that reveals vulnerability, ethical dilemmas, and the profound human cost of fame. It is a reminder that the people closest to celebrities often bear burdens unseen by the public, making difficult choices to protect loved ones while grappling with their own truths. And now, as Doria, Thomas, and Samantha finally speak, we are left with questions that demand answers. What secrets were deemed too dangerous to share for years? How did the financial agreement shape family dynamics? And what will the world do with this new perspective on one of the most scrutinized women of our time? The unfolding story promises not only to satisfy curiosity, but to provoke debate, reflection, and perhaps even a reevaluation of what we think we know about family, loyalty, and truth. The tension is palpable. Every revelation, every anecdote, every confession has been carefully measured, building to a crescendo that will leave audiences stunned. But even now, before the details are revealed, there is a sense of anticipation, an understanding that what is coming will challenge preconceptions, disrupt narratives, and perhaps even shift public opinion in ways we cannot yet imagine. And so, the stage is set. The silence that has lasted for years is about to end. Doria Ragland, Thomas Markle, and Samantha Markle will speak. Secrets will be unveiled. Emotions will run high, and the world will watch in shock, awe, and disbelief. But the first words have already set the tone. What was once hidden is no longer protected, and what was once quiet will now echo across headlines, social media feeds, and public consciousness. As we prepare to dive deeper into this explosive exposé, consider this. What would you do if you were faced with the choice between loyalty and truth? Between silence and revelation? Between protecting a loved one and revealing secrets that could alter public perception forever? The answers are complicated, the emotions are raw, and the consequences are profound. And just when you think you've grasped the magnitude of what is about to unfold, the first revelations will hit, and you won't see them coming. Because the story isn't just about Meghan. It's about the delicate balance of family, fame, and secrecy, and the extraordinary lengths people will go to protect, conceal, or reveal the truth. And the very first revelation, coming from Doria Ragland herself, promises to set off a chain reaction that will leave audiences on the edge of their seats. But what came next would change everything, and no one saw it coming. She watched from the sidelines. Quiet, reserved, invisible in the headlines, unseen in the photos, unheard in the endless chatter about her daughter, Meghan Markle. But just because she was silent didn't mean she was absent. For decades, Doria Ragland carried her own stories, her own struggles, and her own version of the truth. And for years, the world never knew. Today, that changes. Doria Ragland's life before fame was unassuming in the eyes of the public, but rich with complexity, resilience, and quiet drama. She was a mother, a professional, a woman navigating life with determination, yet the pressures she faced were anything but ordinary. Imagine raising a child in Los Angeles, a bustling, sometimes unforgiving city, while trying to instill grounded values, while preparing her daughter for a life that seemed, even in those early years, destined for the extraordinary. Doria's role was pivotal. She shaped Meghan into a confident, articulate, independent young woman. But shaping someone's life often comes with personal sacrifice, and Doria's sacrifices were silent, invisible, and most importantly, carefully measured to protect her daughter. Doria's quiet life was interrupted the moment Meghan's star began to rise. Acting roles, public attention, interviews, social appearances, the spotlight expanded, but so did scrutiny. The world became increasingly interested not only in Meghan but in her family. Suddenly, the private became public, and the intimate details of family life were up for debate. Social media posts, paparazzi photos, and speculative articles began to paint a narrative of a perfect, aspirational family. But reality is never so simple. Behind closed doors, Doria was navigating an invisible minefield, aware that one misstep could damage her daughter's reputation or reignite old controversies. And that's where the financial agreement comes into play. Doria has revealed that she entered into an arrangement with Meghan, a formal contract, to remain silent about certain aspects of their family history, Meghan's early relationships, and other sensitive details. Think about that for a moment. A mother being paid to hold her tongue about her own child. It's almost unthinkable, yet it underscores the extraordinary circumstances surrounding Meghan's life. The agreement wasn't just about discretion, it was a mechanism of protection. Doria explains that it was designed to prevent private matters from being exploited, misrepresented, or sensationalized. But while the agreement may have been contractual, the emotional toll was immeasurable. Imagine being forced into silence for years, watching the world speculate, while carrying knowledge that could drastically alter public perception. Every article, every headline, every social media post was a reminder of the secret she held. And yet, she maintained her composure, balancing maternal loyalty with her own moral compass. How do you weigh the importance of truth against the risk of damaging someone you love? How do you remain silent when you know that your silence is part of a larger narrative that the public may never understand? These were the questions that haunted Doria for years. Her silence was not passive. It was deliberate, conscious, and heavy with responsibility. She witnessed events unfold from the periphery. Media attacks on Meghan, public scrutiny of her personal life, and even rumors that could have destabilized family relationships. Through it all, Doria remained steadfast, navigating a precarious balance between her personal ethics and the formal obligation to remain quiet. It's a story of loyalty tested by circumstance, of love constrained by necessity, and of a mother's quiet strength in the face of unprecedented pressures. And yet, even as she adhered to this silence, cracks began to form. The pressure of maintaining a facade, the weight of carrying unspoken truths, and the emotional strain of watching her daughter's life unfold under relentless scrutiny all contributed to a growing tension. It's a tension that many can relate to in a general sense, but magnified exponentially when fame, family, and financial agreements are involved. The emotional stakes were immense, and the cost of silence was higher than anyone could imagine. In these years of quiet observation, Doria developed a unique perspective. She saw Meghan not just as a public figure, but as a daughter, a young woman navigating pressures the average person could never comprehend. She understood the duality of Meghan's existence, celebrated for her poise and independence, yet constrained by the invisible expectations placed upon her. Doria's insight, however, was confined to private conversations and private spaces. For the public, she remained an enigma. A supportive mother, present at major milestones, yet largely invisible. Her true thoughts, emotions, and judgments were carefully contained, often for the sake of her daughter's public image. But keeping secrets has a cost. Every suppressed story, every withheld detail, and every moment of restraint chipped away at the foundation of silence. Doria has admitted that there were moments when she struggled with guilt, questioning whether her silence was truly in Meghan's best interest. Could the truth have been shared responsibly? Could some secrets have been revealed without causing irreparable damage? These questions lingered for years, unanswered and pressing, adding layers of complexity to an already intricate family dynamic. And then there was the broader context of fame. The media is relentless, and the public's appetite for scandal is insatiable. Every minor detail can become headline news, every anecdote a viral moment. In such an environment, silence can feel both protective and imprisoning. Doria's agreement with Meghan was designed to shield, yet it also created a barrier, a wall that prevented her from engaging fully with her own narrative. She became both protector and prisoner, navigating a world in which every word, every gesture, and every decision could have far-reaching consequences. Yet through it all, Doria remained resilient. She cultivated a sense of calm, a measured approach to life, and an unwavering commitment to her family. This period of quiet observation, of holding her tongue and enduring emotional strain, shaped her perspective and ultimately prepared her for the moment when she would finally speak. It's a story of endurance, moral complexity, and the extraordinary lengths a mother will go to protect her child, even when that protection comes at personal cost. And the revelation of the financial agreement is just the beginning. Doria's willingness to speak now, after years of silence, signals a shift, not just in her own narrative, but in the larger story surrounding Meghan Markle. When Doria finally revealed the agreement, it wasn't simply about money. It was about accountability, transparency, and reclaiming a voice that had been constrained for far too long. The implications are profound. Not only does it shed light on previously hidden aspects of Meghan's life, but it also raises questions about the ethical boundaries of secrecy, loyalty, and family dynamics in the context of fame.